Welcome back to our playthrough of GMT games I, Napoleon. You join us here in the year, about to be the year 1808. And we are facing a war against Austria. But we kind of like that. All right, so we've got to do income. So we know we've got 2P and 1D and 5A, because none of that has changed, but we now have three of our idiot relatives hanging around court. So they rob us of 5 glory. We go and we win all that glory on the battlefield, and then these clowns embarrass us in court. I need making kings so I can get them out of here. Okay. So that is the year setup phase. So now we got the card deck phase. And one thing I got to do real quick, I'm going to just pause for a second while I go and find Forced March so I can remove it from play. All right. So here is the Forced March card. The first time defeat result is achieved in this campaign, treated as a stalemate instead. Would have been a nice card to have around, but unfortunately, that card removed it from play. So now that we've removed that from play, we can basically reshuffle this, and we're on to the card action phase for this turn. So, the Emperor is dead. If Spain, Polish campaign, or Russia are in the campaign, you have to roll the die. So, obviously not. We have the campaign against Austria, as opposed to those 3 campaigns. So, we discard with no effect. Copenhagen must discard with no effect if Peace of Amiens is in play. It's not. Otherwise, must plus 1D and minus 5G, minus 1P, then remove this card from play. So, drag that up here so we can. So, plus 1D, minus 5G, 50 now, and minus 1P. Stupid Danes. Actually, I really like Denmark. Playing a team from Denmark in my current Football Manager save, which is my other gaming passion. Enemy reserves. Oh no. Must place in campaign modifiers. Napoleon must achieve 1 additional victory to win this campaign. Wow. Wow. Okay. Oof. I'm sorely tempted to use Napoleon's luck here, but I think if nothing else goes wrong, I can probably overcome that. Let's hope I don't regret that decision right there. Austrian reform. Must place in Austria. Remove Treaty of Dresden, Treaty of Pressburg, and Treaty of Schönbrunn from play. Minus 1 DRM in all combat rounds of a campaign involving Austria. Wow. So that is obviously a bit nasty in terms of it involves minus 1 DRM, but the thing is, removing all those treaties from play. Oh, I only do it if they're in play. And they're not in play. They're over here in potential campaigns. That would be if they were here. I would remove them. So again, this is one that I'm really thinking about. Should I use Napoleon's luck for this? Because this is going to affect me for like a very long time. So I'm going to use Napoleon's luck to not play that card. I just like that would affect me throughout the rest of the game. Kutuzov must place in Russia. Oh dear. Okay, well that's also not a great guy to have on the board, but dear me. Getting a lot of like cards out here that are going to start making it harder and harder and harder for me to win campaigns, unfortunately. Card draw phase continues. If Berthier's in Chief of Staff must minus 1A and minus 5G to remove and then remove this card. He is my chief of staff, you'll recall. I was very happy when that happened. But I guess historically he held a rabbit hunt that went disastrously wrong, and that's what this card is representing. At least it can only be played once, I guess. This is not going as well as it did last turn. I'm not feeling as confident. Okay. May place in strategy and tactics, may -1 to ignore one bloody result, then remove this card from play. That's a good card because that can help me protect La Grande Armée as long as I keep an admin point around. And that's the end of the turn. So that's the end of the card action phase. So we move on to campaign resolution. So let's look at where we are here. So I have to achieve one additional victory in order to win this campaign. And I don't have that card in Austria. Okay. And Prussia is allied, so I'm going to treat stalemate as victory and ignore bloody results. So I don't need to save an A for that. I have no negative DRMs. Okay. So let's see who we've got here that we might want to bring with us on this campaign. I've got to win 2 victories, so I'm going to actually assign Murat to this at the cost of 2G. But the thing is, with his +2 in the round after the first, since I know I have to fight 2 rounds, he's kind of valuable. We're going to spend 1 to bring Marshal Ney. I got to save 1, so I can spend 2 more. 2 more A. So we'll bring Lans and Desai. Spend 1 P to bring Augereau. Then what I gotta decide is, do I want to spend 3G to bring Davout? With 2 combat rounds to win, I need +3. I think I might be okay. So I'm gonna hold off on that, and hopefully I'm correct about that. Okay, so now we got to resolve the first round of combat. So first things first, I'm going to spend the admin point to use Bonaparte's plans. So I get +1 DRM in the first round. I get +1 DRM from the La Grande Armée. And then I am going to use Augereau. And I will use Lans. We'll save everybody else. That gets me to my DRM of +4, which I so dearly want. So the good news is I don't really think that I can lose this, because even if I get a stalemate, the worst I can get is a stalemate, and that'll turn into a victory. So an 8 is a bloody victory, but you'll recall, because Prussia is allied, I ignore bloody results. So that turns into a victory. So I've satisfied the needs of the enemy reserves card. So now I am fighting another round. I have +1 for La Grande Armée. I don't have a -1 because, again, this second round of combat is not the result of a stalemate. I get +1 for La Grande Armée. I do not get the other one because that one only is on the first round. And then I'm going to assign trying to decide if I should assign Desai and use his +3 DRM. It seems a little bit extreme. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to use these 2 commanders for their +1. That'll give me a +3, and then +3. The worst I could get is a bloody stalemate. So I think that's fine, because the bloody stalemate will turn into a victory. So we're going to do that. So then we'll roll it. It doesn't really matter. But a 2 is a 5, which is a stalemate. But again, because Prussia's allied, that turns into a victory. And so I have defeated Austria in this campaign. So I play the Treaty of Schönbrunn. Oh, I'm looking at campaigns, not treaties. So play the Treaty of Schönbrunn. All right. Plus 1D, 15G, and 1P. Plus 1D, 15G, so that takes me to 56. And 1P. Set Austria to Allied. Allows the play of Marie-Louise Habsburg. And I place it face down. Okay. Let's now roll for commander casualties. So blue is for the top. Blue is for Lons. So Lons and Augereau are fine. Blue is for Ney. So Marshal Ney is wounded. And then Murat. So poor Marshal Ney is wounded. So he goes over to the discard pile. And then this returns to the discard pile during cleanup. And this returns to potential campaigns during cleanup. And with that, we are done with campaign resolution, and we are on to diplomacy. So we skip the diplomatic roll for Austria. Flip that face up. Then I'm going to roll, let's see. 1 second while I look at something. All right, what I was looking at was the Russia campaign and what it takes to launch the Russia campaign. So I am going to start by rolling for Russia, and I'm not going to apply any diplomacy to this roll for Russia. But Russia stays neutral. Russia has been very kind to me, I gotta say, so far in this game. And then Prussia, I'm going to spend 3 diplomacy on this roll for Prussia. So Prussia stays allied. Okay. So I'm not going to be fighting a campaign next year. So next year will be maybe like a little bit of a quiet year. Oh, actually, wait a minute. Oh. I'm wrong. If Russia is hostile or neutral, I can launch this. This is interesting. May be chosen as the active campaign if Russia is hostile or neutral, Prussia is allied, and Austria is allied or neutral. -5G if not played when possible. Guess what, guys? We're going to Russia. So this is a campaign. First of all, it gets removed when played, and second of all, there is something that can happen if it's a stalemate. Oh, Lord. Okay, I'm nervous now. Okay, so I forgot that actually this triggers even if Russia is neutral. So here we go. We're going into Russia. Okay, so that is the end of the diplomacy phase. Sorry, I'm a little nervous about that. But now we go to domestic politics. So we have 3 allies and only one enemy. So we are rolling +2 on this. That's not good. 4. So -3G. Idiot relatives are going to make me flip that counter again. Dang you. Okay. That's domestic politics. Cleanup. We flip this back. Everything else stays where it is. So we are now into the year setup phase for 1809, where not only is this card going to get added, but Napoleon is going to invade Russia. Thanks. All right, so move that back. We've moved the year marker. All right, we lose 5G. So we're down to 48. We gain 2 politics. We gain 1 diplomacy, and we gain 6 admin. I think I've been oh, shoot, I've been shortchanging myself. All right, my bad. Okay. Glad I realized it before my war with Russia, however. All right, this war with Russia is not something to fool around with. The good news is that I will be able to use Tsar Alexander for a +1 in this campaign. Okay, so now we are onto the card deck phase. So we are going to add this card to play. That goes into the deck. And then we're going to return, shuffle everything up. And card action phase. This could be, I don't want to be drawing a bunch of bad cards. Oh dear. Blücher. If Prussia rises, it is in Prussia. All right, well, Blücher is now on the world stage. And so my campaigns against Prussia are going to get that much more difficult. Belen. If Spain is hostile, must -1d, -1p, and -5g, then remove this card from play. Otherwise, discard this card with no effect. Well, Spain is not hostile, so we discard that card with no effect. -1 DRM in the first round against Russia. Russia is not going to go quietly, I guess. Grand Battery may -1A to +1 DRM in any one combat round. Okay, that's good. I got my artillery coming to the rescue. Poor Desiree Clary is back. Sorry, can't help you. Married. Continue. Typhus. Treat the first non-bloody result as bloody, then remove this card from play. Oh dear. This is not a particularly great situation. All right, well, actually, I don't think it's going to have any effect, really, because... well, we'll have to look at that. Oh, it will. Oof. Oh, I'm going to lose La Grande Armée if that goes into play. So what I'm dealing with right now is Kutuzov, who's up in the Russia box, means that all the results in Russia are bloody. And I've got that card where I can spend 1A to ignore a bloody result. But if I do that, then I would have a non-bloody result, and then Typhus would come into play. And Typhus would create a bloody result, which would then cause the La Grande Armée to be removed. So once again, I'm going to use Napoleon's luck to ignore that card and not play it. Losing La Grande Armée this early, although losing it in Russia is historically accurate, but losing it this early is not something I'm that interested in. So it's a little bit nerve-wracking now because I only get one roll against Russia, but hopefully I can get a +4 and sort of make it work. So I have 6A. I need to save 1A for Sergeant General Larry. I know that. I need to save 1A for that. So I've got 4A to spend. I think everybody's coming with me, I think, here. McDonald's useless because there's only going to be one round of combat here. All right, hang on a second. I got to do a little bit of math, and then I got to come back and think about what I'm going to do. Okay, so I've kind of looked at the situation, and to get to a +4 DRM, I think I need +5 from my commanders. So to get there, I'm going to have to use Oudinot. So that's -1G. I'm going to use Junot, -1A. I'm going to use Lens, -1A. I'm going to use Augereau, -1P. And I'm going to use Desai, -1A. So I can't use McDonald because he would be in a combat round after the first. Same with Davout. Davout could be used, but 3G. And Murat is in a combat round after the first, so he's not useful. So I think I have what I need here with +5. So we'll see how good my math has been. So this gets a little bit complicated, but let's kind of walk through it. So first things first, there's a campaign effect from Russia, which is -2 DRM in the first combat round. So we've taken care of that. Next, we've got La Grande Armée. So that's +1. And I'm going to spend 1A to get a +1 DRM in the first combat round from that card. Spend that 1A. Now I've got the Grand Battery. So I'm spending 1A to get the effects of that. But I've got this -1 DRM in the first combat round from enemy attack. So that just stays where it is. Now, I've got Tsar Alexander. He's got a +1 DRM in the first combat round. So I'm going to use that. That gives me +1, but I put this card up here because he learns his lesson and doesn't interfere. And then I've got Kutuzov, which is -1 DRM in all combat rounds, and treat all results as bloody. So those two will cancel each other out. Okay, so my math was a little bit off, and it looks like I only needed I only needed 4. So we'll assign Dessay, Augereau, Lens, and Junot. And we won't use Wiedenot, so he doesn't get automatically wounded, which is going to get me to my +4. So I believe, just to confirm, I used Napoleon's luck. So drum roll, please. A 9. We have achieved victory in our war against Russia. So, just to be clear though, Kutuzov turns that into a bloody result. So I'm going to spend my last admin point. I am going to play Surgeon General Larry to remove that bloody result and remove this card from play. So it is now not a bloody result, which means I don't have to actually lose La Grande Armée. So, victory in Russia, I play the Treaty of Smolensk. Oops, I'm looking in the... Play the Treaty of Smolensk. So, must be moved to current treaties. Okay, +25G and +2P. So this is going to take me to 72. 47 plus 25 is 72. And +2P. Set Russia to Allied. Remove Tsar Alexander. Oh dear, where's Tsar Alexander? So that's interesting. Without him in play, Russian commanders can't be played. So that's good. But then again, I don't have a lot of opportunity to attack Russia after this either. Remove Russo-Swedish War and Russo-Turkish War from play. And remove this card from play instead of shifting Russia after a diplomacy roll. So, I'm going to actually... well, let's hold on for a second. So then we place that face down. Okay. So, commanders. Junot's blue, obviously, as we've been doing all along. So Junot is wounded. Augereau blue. So they're both fine. And then Wiedenot, who... That's a 3, so he's not wounded. So Junot goes back into the discard pile because he is wounded. And I believe with that, we are on to, if we'd been stalemate, by the way, just so you notice, if we'd gotten a stalemate or defeat, we would, at this moment, we would have had to have played the Retreat from Russia campaign, and we would have resolved it right then using only the commanders that we had available to us from that we'd already assigned. We couldn't assign anybody new. So, Okay, so then we're doing cleanup. So this campaign is actually removed from play. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put it over here because I got to remember to go find these 2 cards and remove them, and that'll help me remember. So, and then these 2 cards go back to discards. And with that, I believe we have completely cleaned up from the campaign. Look at that! Everybody in Europe is now allied with me. Might makes right, apparently, is the lesson of this. But now we are on to the diplomatic phase, where that might start to change. So we do not roll for Russia. So we flip that face up. And so I am going to roll for... I'm going to roll for Austria. And I'm going to add my 1 DRM to it. So unfortunately, Austria becomes neutral. Well, actually, you know what? I am going to remove the Treaty of Schönbrunn from the game to prevent Austria from doing that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to break the Treaty of Berlin and declare war on Prussia. Way I can isolate Prussia, and I might be able to conquer Prussia. Okay. That is all of that, then, I believe. So that is the diplomacy phase. Oh, no, I don't roll for Russia. Okay, and I'm still not rolling for Spain because they still have these treaties in the box which keep them allied. So we move to domestic politics. So I have a +1 on this because I have 3 allies versus 2 hostile. Rolled a 10 again. Well, that's very good for me. So that is the domestic politics phase. And with that, we go to the cleanup phase. So we flip this over. Those 2 things are where they should be. So that will be it for this video. Our invasion of Russia was successful. In the next video, we will come... Oh, I'm sorry, I am not done. My bad. During the diplomatic phase, I needed to move the Prussia Declares War campaign over here. Now you'll see one of the reasons I decided to go that route is I get +1 if Austria is allied and +1 if Russia is allied. So I'll be getting a good hefty modifier for attacking Prussia on its own here. So with that, we will end the video, and we will come back next time to watch the invasion of Prussia and potentially, because that treaty has been removed from the game, the conquest of Prussia. So we will see you next time for that, when we move on to 1810. Thanks for joining us for this playthrough of I, Napoleon from GMT Games. If you're enjoying the video, it'd be great if you could leave a like. If you have questions, drop them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them. If you're enjoying the series, the channel, it'd be great if you could subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when we produce new content. And sharing the video is also another way that you can help the video get found and help the channel. And we will see you next time on Agility Snips Gaming Table.